All right, so we'll be moving into the third session of today's class. And we'll be taking business analysis, and the topic for today is making the business case. Please permit me to share my screen. Oh. Okay, so the person who will be taking us on the third session of today's class is none other than Kingsley Ezuruike. Okay, Kingsley is a business consultant and business analyst specializing in business transformation, process optimization, and digital innovation across diverse industries. He has extensive experience implementing ERP solutions such as Odoo and Zoho, helping organizations streamline operations, automate processes, improve customer engagement, and enhance overall business performance. His expertise includes business analysis, requirements gathering, process mapping, solution design, stakeholder management, and successful technology adoption. In addition to ERP implementations, Kingsley supports organizations in achieving operational excellence through the implementation of standards such as ISO 9001, ISO 27001, and ISO 22301. He also leverages enterprise architecture and transformation frameworks such as TOGAF to align business strategy with technology, improve governance, and drive sustainable organizational growth. His passion lies in helping businesses build scalable systems, optimize performance, and achieve long-term success through innovation and continuous improvement. Let's make welcome our third trainer who will be taking us on business analysis, and the topic says making the business case. Kingsley, please, if you can hear from me, you can hear me, kindly take it off from here.
Right. Thank you very much, Mercy. Thank you. Once again, good afternoon to all of us, and it's good to have us on the call. Please confirm I am audible enough and my audio is clear.
Loud and clear.
All right, that's fine. All right, thank you. So I'll be sharing my screen for us to get into the business of today. Okay, confirm you can see my screen. Confirm my screen is visible and very clear as it is. Can anyone see my screen?
Yes, please.
All right, beautiful. All right, so welcome to the third session for today, as we'll be looking at making the business case, addressing business analysis. Come again?
Can you please put it on presentation mode?
It is on presentation mode. Is it not? Let me stop and redo that. Can you see it now? It's on presentation mode.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, it's the same thing, but we can see your screen.
When you say it's the same thing, how about now?
Maybe it's not on presentation mode. Maybe you can reshare.
It is, all right. Okay, let me stop sharing and reshare if that's the case. How about now, please? Confirm you can see, then I'll do presentation mode, then I'll ask if you can see the screen now, right?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, is it on presentation mode now?
Not yet. Your screen is actually visible. You can go ahead.
All right, so I don't know why. Let me just zoom a bit, at least to make it very more visible. All right, so making the business case. Maybe some of us might be looking at are we taking the business to court, or what are we looking at when we are talking about making the business case? All right, but thank God we are here. This is part of business analysis that, as BAs, we should understand it and also know how to go about it, because it will help in breaking down what the solution we are to provide is, right? So yeah, making the business case is not like a case you're taking to the court or something that has to do with the courtroom, but it has to do with a document. It's a document that is very, that has the problem that we are to solve, or the project we are to look at, or that solution we are to provide. A document that clearly breaks down all the solution that you're recommending, or the solution that you're to provide, right? So there should be justification to what is to be done, or what the solution that is to be done, right? It has to be very clear, it has to be justified, right? Of course, we know that when looking at a solution, or a a project that the stakeholder needs, right? At that time, they need to see something that, okay, as the BA, you're recommending this for us. You're putting a clear picture of what you want to do to their faces, right? So it has to be justifiable. You have to compare it with um, other tools or other solutions, in place or available. You understand? So when you make it comparable, like, okay, this is what these people offer. However, this is what this I am giving to you. This is what it will do. This is the advantage it has over this. You understand? When you're able to put that to somebody, or to give value to, that person will be, at least there's something you're comparing this, you're matching it against something, and that will drive the decision for the stakeholder. All right, I believe my screen is visible enough, and we are good, right? All right, let me go to the next slide. Confirm that it moved also. My WPS, I don't know why it's all right. So confirm I've moved to the next slide.
Yes,
Can we make
on the next slide. What is a business case?
Beautiful. Thank you very much. So yeah, let's look at the definition of what a business case is, right? So like I said, it has nothing to do with the courtroom. This is a formal document that is used to justify a business change, right? This document explains the problem and the opportunities, right? So like I said, it has to be comparable. You explore multiple options, around that space, around that solution, which will drive our decision making. So the document has to be justifiable. It has to put that change, that solution, that problem you want to solve at the moment. It has to be very, very clear, to be justifiable, and explains, what the problem is. All right. So yes, of course, it will help in supporting the decision, because yes, it will help in decision making for your stakeholders, right? So yes, this document also needs to present the reasoning for initiating the project or the task. We understand that this business case, it comes up when we are looking at a project, when there is a solution to be given, right? When there's a problem to be solved, right? You come up with your business case to project that solution you're to provide, right? To give the stakeholders, confidence in what you want to do, right? So it presents the reasoning for initiating the task or the project in itself. It has to be contextual. The context of the solution that is to be given, the options of, okay, well, this is why this is better than this, Of course, we have this already existing. We should be considering some things: cost, security, flexibility, scalability, and all of that, right? So we need to consider options. We need to consider the cost. What benefit are we going to derive from that solution that we are given? We also need to consider the risk around it, and the feasibility around it. So that makes up the business case. That puts the business case together, right? So, when we are proposing, let's say we want to implement a customer feedback system, maybe the organization or the business is suffering from not getting ample feedback from their customers. It's a problem, it's a challenge, right? You're offering a product or service to the public, right, or to your customers, right? And you're struggling to understand, oh, how is my service or how is this product, reaching out to the customers? What could be their feedback? Are they satisfied with what we have or what we do, right? So we need a solution. We need something in place, like a customer feedback system that can collate, customer feedback, so we can do better, so we can, improve in our delivery of the product and services that we offer. All right, so it will help, to think, of it as a persuasive, evidence-based story for management to decide. They need to consider it. They need to really look at it. Should we invest in this solution? Is this really going to give us value? Right? So when the business case is properly structured, when it is put together, it will help in driving their decision. Are we good? So now we have a decision gate that we need to consider along the way, or in the project life cycle, right? We need to, consider some things while putting up the business case or while developing the business case. There needs to be ample feasibility study, right? You need to make a feasibility study around the solution you're to provide. That makes up the initial business case, right? Before, the stakeholders will look at it, will now drive decisions. And before driving decisions also, after the feasibility study, right, you also need to consider the requirement analysis and specification. So how feasible will the solution delivery be, or the implementation be, right? Then we now need to look at, okay, what are the requirements? What are the designs? What are we putting in place? What is the specification of the solution we are to, provide, right? So that's why requirement analysis has to come into place, before the business case in itself is confirmed, with the detailed requirements in place and specification, right? It will now drive to the solution design. Are we good? So after you've done your requirement analysis around the system or the solution, let's look at that customer feedback system, right? The requirement analysis has to be done as a business analyst, and you look at the specification. That alone will now build up or make up the solution design. Are we good? Because when we are able to put up the requirement, what it is required, what the solution is required, and the problem it is required to solve, so the specification of what it is that we are to put in place will help in the solution design. So doing, the business case is confirmed, and we look at it will build up or make up the development cost, because okay, once the design is in place, the next thing is we now look at, okay, well, this is the cost to getting this in or developing this. This is the cost of coming to come up with this solution or with this system, right? That is where we'll now go to the solution development and implementation. By then, the cost has been ascertained. Then we'll now have to deploy the solution. The solution has to be implemented. While implementing the solution, we can still make reference to the business case to, okay, is it in line with what we proposed? Is it in line with what we had, proposed to the stakeholders, and they have the resources are there available and we have implemented? Is it meeting up? We now need to consider the operations of the process that we have put in place or the system that we have put in place. right, which will make up the benefits of that business case that has been proposed initially. Are we good, people? Do I have can I get reactions or questions from here before I go further, please? Are we together? Are we good? I need feedback. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, we are good.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so this is a project life cycle of a business case, right? We need to consider the feasibility study. We need to look at the requirement analysis and the specification of that system we are putting in place. It will now build up the solution design, of the system that is to be deployed or to be implemented. While we have implemented, we need to consider the operations of new processes and systems, putting together what we have, looking at areas that it will cover and other, processes that it will reach out to or solve or help in optimizing as it is. All right. So why we write a business case? Why should we have a business case in place? Or why, as a business analyst, we need to consider a business case when deploying or in a project or deploying a solution? A business case will now help us to decide, of course, like I said, we are looking at, in context of this training today, a customer feedback system, right? Of course, if we go on Google, we can see some solutions, right? Of course, we have Google Forms, we have so many survey forms. If we use that to reach out, we can customize something, to reach out to the customers. They can fill up those documents, and at least there are something in place. So we need to consider something existing or something that can be customized to, help the business as it is. So the purpose of a business case is for clarity, what the business needs, for clarification of what the business needs, and the justification for why they should invest in the business to get the result, the required result. Right? So that has to be justified. There should be justification for why this solution is proposed or for why I am proposing the solution. I have to compare it, right, with different options and their outcomes. So like I said, Google Forms now. Can Google Forms reach out to all our customers? What can we have in place for those that are not using smartphones, for those that are not, cannot access Google Chrome or any form of that? What can we put in place? You see, that as a BA, you're now thinking out of the box. You're now looking at something that can work, something that can be more flexible, something that can reach out to more people. Are we good? Now, this will help in assisting in decision making. When we are able to capture or put up a business case properly, it will help to drive decision for the stakeholder. It will help them decide, oh, this is good. Oh, we should go with this. Right? All right. So, of course, while we are doing all of this, we need to consider time. What can or how or when, how do we ensure that we have this thing in place, and how do we ensure everything goes well in specific time frame, right? So we need to put up all of those considerations in place as BAs, because after the market research, you need to, all those feasibility studies has to do with, okay, what is happening in the industry, or that part of the industry, what is happening in the market, what is the positioning in the market, so yeah, all of this will help you to know when to create the solution. You need to have a business feasibility study, proper feasibility study. Look at the strengths, the weaknesses, and all that we can have within that solution that we are to provide. Of course, which will now build up our business case. It will flesh up our business case. Then we can have investors or the stakeholders invest in it. Are we good? So yeah, it has to be typically prepared after we've made our feasibility study, before investing large resources. There should be justification to why you should invest in this as my stakeholder, right? Of course, we all know that we've gone past, so many people have adopted the agile project management methodology, right? Where business cases can be incremental due to the ongoing changes in scope. So just to break it down, right? There's a scope of what we want the customer feedback system to give to us. Customer feedback system is like a solution in the context of this engagement, right? So yeah, we just need we need a customer feedback system. How do we go about it? What can you give to us as the BA, right? So I'm just relating to us as BA and a stakeholder that needs our services, right? Of course, why we have done our feasibility studies, why we've developed the business case, and probably deploying. Why deploying or after go live of the project, right? So many organizations will come, oh, so can't we have this? Can't the system do this? Pretty much taking us out of the scope of what was agreed upon. So that's why you see projects adopting the agile methodology. So in case of that situation, how can it be managed? How can we ensure that, okay, within the budget, within the investment, or within can we really achieve this that is coming up that wasn't captured in the scope of this project, right? So you see that we should be considering all of that. We should use agile methodology while developing a business case document. Okay, now the aspect of feasibility studies, because it is very key to drive the needed solution or the needed system in place. The feasibility study has to do with you looking at the business in itself. What is the strategic fit of that solution in a business, the business world? What is the market condition? What is the timeliness for delivery? What is around the enterprise architecture of the business? The organizational fit, the cultural fit, the competencies around people that, the end users and all of that. All of this will help to put the business properly or to position the business right. Of course, while we are deploying, for the business, we also need to consider the legal and the regulatory bodies of that business. This helps in or makes up the feasibility study from the business perspective. We need to consider all of this: the strategy, the market condition, the timeliness, the architecture, the enterprise architecture around it, right? The organizational fit, the cultural fit, and all that. While we're looking at the business side of things to, decide or have our feasibility studies, right? We also need to consider the technicality or the technical features of all of it. What is the availability? What's the reliability? What's the maintainability? Because yeah, when you deploy a solution, all of this technical aspect has to be considered, right? How can it be maintained? Is it reliable? What's the performance? What's the strength? How secured is it? How scalable is it? What technical skills do we need to have this deployed, or do we need to have this used or utilized? What's the compatibility with other environments, other software environments? Is this really proven? Is it technically proven to deliver the solution, or to meet up with other solution in the already existing? Yeah, so all of this has to be considered to make up the feasibility studies that we are talking about. Of course, while doing the feasibility study, we also need to, after considering the business and the technical side of things, we also need to look at the finance, right? What is the financial expectation for, having that system? Is it going to fall within the budget that the stakeholders have for the year, for the quarter, or for that project in context? Are the funds available to drive that solution? Is it something that can be borrowed? What could be the acceptable return on investment? We need to consider all of this: acceptable cash flow, Is it fast enough payback? All this makes up our feasibility study, people, right? When we put up all of this in context to um, the solution we want to, or the system we are looking at, right? It will build up in our feasibility study or for our feasibility study, right? Okay, now let's see how we can structure the business case. Like I said, it's a document. And that document cannot just, oh, okay, this is the solution I'm giving, these are the features, blah, 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 blah. When it is not properly structured, when it is not properly documented, of course, it will not make real-time sense to the end users or to the stakeholders, right, that needs the solution. So as BAs, we need to know how to structure a business case document. It has to have an introduction. There should be executive summary, pretty much a three-graph brief for decision makers to look at and have a summary of what it is, because of course our stakeholders, the decision makers, are part of the executive, right? Now we need to now have the current solution. If there's no solution in place, at least have a proper explanation of what the problem is. You define the problem they are having. Current situation, this is where we are, and we are looking to get to the next. We are looking from point A to point B or C as it is, right? So the document has to have the current situation or the current problem, and maybe the opportunity for what we want. At least that current situation needs to be broken down. Then the options considered. So what are those existing softwares or existing solutions, right? At least have them captured, then have your recommendation given. Oh, okay, we have this, these are options. However, I'm recommending this because this can do this, these are the benefits from this, these are the return on investment for this. This is, if you put your business case like that, trust me, your stakeholders will definitely, have something to fall back to or have a reasonable document they can work with. Because when you have done the recommendation, which is clearly captured, why it is the best fit for them to have that problem solved. Of course, we also need to look at the cost and the benefits. What will it cost us to have? What are the values that we'll get, after spending this amount of money? So your business case document has to come or follow this pattern: introduction, executive summary, the current situation at hand or the current problem, the options to be considered. Of course, you have options. However, we are putting up a recommendation for them. We also need to put down the cost and the benefits. We also need to look at the risk and the impact. So, okay, while deploying, what could go wrong in your organization? Okay, I can spot one or two risks as an implementer, right, or as a business analyst. If I come to your organization, I'm trying to look at the feedback, customer feedback system. Of course, already I can point some risk, right? Of course, while in the engagement, while meeting with stakeholders and all of that, I can also spot some risk. So I can, I need to put down those risks. What could go wrong? And all of that. So yeah, of course, our feasibility assessment has to be done. How, after considering the business, the technical, and the finance, of course, it will help in putting up our feasibility assessment properly. Of course, yeah, the investment appraisal, considering using some tools, if I'll use that word, yeah, some tools like a return on investment chart or framework that we can consider cost of investment as to profit. All of the MPVs, IIR, all of these are tools that we can use to appraise the investment done done in the project or done within the project. All right, the presentation style, right? Of course, we need to have the document capture the presentation style, right? The context, the language, the audience that we are to meet or to reach out. Yes, all this has to be put in place, documented to have a professional business case document. All right, in the feasibility assessment, we need to consider well, you need to achieve this also using the PESTEL analysis. So PESTEL model, has to talk about the political aspect, the economic aspect, social-cultural aspect, the technological aspect, the legal, and the environment, right? We need to have this evaluation done. We need to have this model. We need to use this model to build up the feasibility assessment, right? So political have to do it. Is it accepted? Is it acceptable, right? Is the solution acceptable within the political context of the country and all of that, right? The economic aspect of things, if it is affordable, what's the cost effectiveness, the social culture, does it really fit the company standard, the company's culture, the company's policy and all that, right? The technological side of things, is it technically possible that we'll have this? Have we considered the other factors, the scalability, the performance, all of those technological aspects of things, right? The legal compliance with the regulatory bodies. We need to put all of this to have our feasibility assessment properly captured. Are we good? Any question before I proceed to the next slide? Any question, any reaction before I go further? Hello, people. Hello, everyone. Hope I've not been talking to myself alone.
We can hear
Any
you.
question? Any reaction? Oh, beautiful. Sorry, I'm just seeing your thumbs up and all that. Thank you. Let me look at the chat a bit to see if I have something to respond to. Okay. Please, ma, kindly look into it. Okay, let me see what it. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. Thank you, everyone. Fola, are you trying to reach out to me? I'm saying hello, sir. Okay, I think that was a previous message. All right, beautiful. So let's proceed. Okay. If it's a question for me, right, you can put it on the chat box, then I'll come look at it. Or Messi, you can call my attention to it. All right, beautiful. So back to my slides. All right, so yeah, after the feasibility assessment, you also need to look at the cost benefit analysis, because nobody will want to invest carelessly into something that will not drive, or they will not derive benefit from it. Are we good? So we need to really, really measure on the value proposition of the system that we are putting in place. We need to identify all the possible costs and the benefits, then categorize them as if it is tangible or intangible. If it will be taking a short-term implementation or a long-term implementation, right? So yes, we need to really, really, really look at the cost analysis. Do we understand? Because if it is very tangible, yeah, the stakeholder will understand. If it isn't tangible, they will understand. So we need to, really categorize these things properly. So what's the tangibility? What's how is it intangible? Like, you need to rate all of these things properly, right? Using these tools or these metrics, like we saw before, the NPV, the net present value, right? The internal rate of return, the return on investment, and the payback period if maybe they get a loan. All of these things, they help to make up the cost benefit analysis. Are we together? Because calculating return on investment of automating invoice processing, it will save man hour and reducing errors. So when we are having a system in place, let's say a system that processes invoice, right? Of course, we know that the system already is aligned properly. So for people that invoice manually, most of the times you encounter errors and all. But a system in place, there's this seamless, effective, and efficient efficiency that you get from a solution, a well customized solution, a well intentional solution that is targeting the problem or solving the problem, addressing the root cause or that gap or that loophole within that process or within that organization. All right, so lightweight and evolving business case in agile project. Agile approaches need lightweight, flexible business cases, right? Of course, this can evolve with the project scope. So the agile methodology for project management, has to be considered in your business case. It has to be captured in your business case because it helps, in flexibility. It helps to address, okay, what if we have a change of scope? You can be able to address them. You can be able to align. You can, ensure that everything is flowing, everything, the project is not stalled, there's no hold on somewhere, due to unforeseen. So agile gives room for unforeseen, just in case. Yeah, I still need to keep going while considering all of that. So often split into smaller incremental justification instead of one large case. Yeah, so the business case has to be flexible, like I said, right? So look at the phases from phase one, which is the mini phase, to phase two, you know, say mini phase, mini case, while we have all the phases just to ensure that there is no form of, um, you know, change that will affect and all that. All right. So that in the case of building a mobile application, right? Of course, this has to go in phases. We need to do this. We need to have requirement gathering, um, clearly. We need to look at analyze it properly. We need to consider the solution design. So we can put all of these things in phases, right? While we look at the funding and all of that to make up the business case. All right. So presentation of a business case. So let's say I've developed a document, a business case document, right? For me to be able to convince my stakeholders, for me to be able to, win in that conversation. So I need to know how to go about my presentation. I need to understand who the people, who my audience are. I need to really, really know who they are. Because if I don't understand who they are, I will not know how to package my presentation. I will not know how to put together my presentation. Because some people are less, some people don't really like talking too much. Oga, hit the nail on the head. Oga, what are you saying? Drive me home. Right? So if you understand your audience, right, you now know how to go about it. Okay, yeah. You just have the summary of that conversation. Just summarize it in few words or with few slides, right? You can capture two things in one slide with pictures or something, less words or something, just a summary, right? Some people are like that. So other people want details. Okay. So break it down. Can you explain? You understand? So you need to understand that the people you're to engage with. It has to be visual, right? People these days, if we understand um, PowerPoint presentations these days, so many documents are less of words. Like, Oga, I don't have the bulk time to read all of this. Oga, what are you saying? So some people want to see chart. Okay, you see this chart, this, that. Oh, beautiful. You see this diagram, blah, 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 beautiful. I'm having so many words in one slide, and oh God, what's this on my face? Some people don't really want to read much. Some people are like that. They just want, okay, I'm looking at this picture. In my head, I am getting what I want to get. In my head, I'm seeing what it is I want to see. Some people are like that. So our presentation of our business case, we need to consider visuals, tables, charts, diagrams. It has to be really, really concise. We need to avoid, the document being too bulky without, people will feel tired going to a business case document that is not really, really concise, that is not packaged, well structured. Pack all the words and fill up the document. You expect me to read all of this? What are you saying, Oga? Do you get? Some people are like that. So it has to be properly structured. You need to tell them what they want to hear. You need to really tell them what it is they want to hear. That value proposition of what you're presenting. It could be a one-pager, it could be charts, it could be a diagram, right? That manager does not have so much time to sit with you for 1 hour going through or reading documents. No, they just want to see the thing they want to see. What they want to see has to do with you understanding them, so you know how to put that document together, that business case document together. Are we good? All right. Okay, so the pitch or the summary of the conversation, or in summary of all of this conversation that we are having right now, right? A business case is like me or you as a business analyst pitching business ideas, solution ideas, right? System automations, you get, we pitching it to investors. If we can structure our business case document properly, trust me, investors will listen. When they are listening, you're not wasting their time. Are we good? You're not wasting their time. They will hear you, they will see reasons, they will see value in that engagement. So they will really understand what they want to do. It's not easy to just bring out money. You need to present the value proposition. You need to present the benefit of the system. So your job is to show them that this is what their money, this is what their time, you need to consider all of this. Let me go back to that slide again, right? This structure, this structure of a business case document, your introduction, oh, this is brilliant, this person will be great. The executive summary, oh, yeah, this really captures or summarizes the expectation of the executives and all of that. Oh, actually, this is the current situation that we are facing. Okay, this is fine. Okay, we can have this. There are options. We can look at multiple options. Okay, we'll have them. But this is what we are presenting or proposing to them, right? Oh, okay, this is my recommendation for you. This is best fit solution for you, right? And trust me, right? I consider the cost of this. This is the cost and the benefit you will derive. Among this other solution, this you pay XYZ amount yearly, but this you can subscribe or get your license for this amount. And compared to this one, you like cost and the benefit. While you're doing this, you're putting the risk. Oh, trust me, we'll experience one or two issues or bottlenecks, or something might go wrong. I have considered those things that might go wrong, and I have them in the document. Of course, when you put this document together, when you structure this together properly, right, your investors or your stakeholders will be glad. There's this joy, that they will have, that, oh, would like to work with you, we need you to deliver this to us, and all of that, right? So yes, when you have captured that document properly, presentation matters. In fact, in the inception of the meeting, or the very first time the engagement is initiated, right, you're already understanding your people or the people in itself, right? Because I believe so many of us have discernment spirit. Of course, as a professional, as and also as a business analyst, right? There's this thing around you, understanding your audience or the stakeholders, right? Yes, of course. And as a BA, you also need to ask you need to ask questions. It's not wrong to ask questions, because yes, you need to know what you're proposing, you need to know what you're giving out, you understand. So in all of the meetings, in all of the conversation, right, before you come up with the business case document, of course you should be able to tell who your audience are, what is the level of understanding, because all of this will help you put together your presentation. Some people are some people have this vast and wide knowledge or experience or exposure, right? Some people struggle to, flow at the first cap or at the first engagement, right? Yes, some people struggle, some people need time to assimilate, to understand, So when you understand those people, you know how to present, you know what document or how you can put up the document together. So how do you want to, are you summarizing it? Are you using diagrams? Will this person understand this chart and putting in place? Will this person understand the diagram that, breaks down the process flow chart of this system that I want to have in place? All of this really matters. They really, really do matter, right? So yeah, we can, understand those people, have our presentation done. Definitely, you go out from the room smiling. You go out from that engagement smiling. So we should know that a business case is we pitching, we talking, convincing, telling the business owners the business idea clearly broken down, clearly captured. We need to show them the worth of their money that, oh, trust me, after this investment, trust me, you're not going to regret this investment. This is the return on investment. This is the benefit and all of that. People want to hear the benefits. Do you understand? People really need to understand what it is they will gain. So for the customer feedback system that I'm using as the context of this conversation, right? We need to look at the current situation, the complaints rising, no structured way to hear from customers. We can't really get to understand them. This is an end-to-end um, business case consideration for this solution. So we need to look at the options. Are we going to buy survey tools? Are we going to build a portal? All of that. What are we recommending? Are we recommending a survey tool, or are we looking at customization? What survey tool are we to consider? What's the value? What is the risk? All of these are what you need to consider, right? Of course, like we mentioned, cost and benefits. So you can imagine you paying 2.4 million naira per year versus, a system that you're paying 9 million in 4 months and all of that. So instead of going for that 10 million, 12 million naira solution, I can propose something that, for 1 year, we are investing this, and at the end of 4 months or at the end of a period of time, this is what we can be saving for ourselves, or this is what we can be getting for ourselves. So cost and benefits are always considered, risk and feasibility, right? Adoption of the risk and all of that. Using this personal analysis, we can always get our feasibility assessment right. We can always get it right, considering the political factor, economic factor, social, cultural factor, and all that technical factor, the legal and environment. Excuse me. All right. So thank you, people. Do I have questions? So we'll just in the next. Okay, we'll have some good about 10 minutes, right? We have about 10 minutes to wrap it up. All right. So within the 10 minutes, can I get your questions? Can I get your contribution? Can I get, what it is you feel about this? Is it where does it address, does it make sense to you as a business analyst? Yeah, let me get your questions and your reactions before we call it a day. Please, you can use the chat box. I don't know if your mics are enabled. You can also talk. So yeah, let's get to have a good understanding in the engagement as it is. I am on the chat room. Do I have questions? Do I have contributions? Of course, I know we have big people in here. We have experienced people in here. We have professionals in here, right? So yeah, can we get to share ideas? Can we get to, talk around the business case, making a business case document? All right, I need reactions, I need questions, I need answers. Hello,
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kingsley.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, if I understand very well, I need some help in terms of the business case. Is it only when you are presenting it for investment? If I understand very well, is that what the whole business case is all about?
Yes. So, yes, I'll say yes, right? So now you see, as business analysts, right, we can be reached out to, can be consulted to drive a solution. Or we all know that in one word, let's just forget the professional name. In one word, as business analysts, we are problem solvers. We are solution providers, right? So as a solution providers, we can have an organization reach out to us. We're having a problem. We need to solve a problem. So you know that, okay, okay, is this the problem? Okay, I'll need you to do this, I'll need you to do that, or I'm suggesting you have this. So saying it verbally, yeah, in that conversation. However, there's executive meeting or board of their stakeholders, the leaders, the executives. You're having that conversation with maybe one or two persons, but you know that is just a mere conversation. Now, to have a document, a solid document for this proposition that you're giving, is for you to come up with a business case document where it is clearly captured. The solution you're to provide, they are all captured there. The benefit, the cost, the everything is clearly stated here, there in the business case document. Every organization, every stakeholder that needs your services will really understand what it is that you have in there. That will help them to decide, oh, okay, oh, yeah, this is good to invest. Okay, it's fine, we can invest this amount of money and all of that. So yes, the business case document is to be presented for, you know, that solution or that proposition that you're giving. Okay, I'm seeing something here. Please, sir, what about risk management and unforeseen circumstances? Yeah, so that's why there is room for risk, you know, to be part of your business case document. You should have, because yes, definitely in every project there is an unforeseen expectation. Are we good? Yes, it can come. So yeah, that's why we are adopting agile project management or agile project methodology, right? So yes, in case of this, what if this happens? So all of those risks needs to be considered. That's why it is part of your business case document, business case document structure, right? Yes, you need to consider the risk. All right, so please let me know how you can handle a client who has little knowledge about understanding a business case, but knows the outcome of the investment potentials therein. He might want to see some figures. So, like I said, it is part of your business case document. You don't need to, the business case document shouldn't be too technical for anybody to understand. Your technicality or your technical studies makes up your feasibility study, right? Of course, that technical factor wouldn't be rubbed on your on the stakeholders' face, but you as the key person or the consultant, you understand it. So a business case document should be very, very clear. It should be flexible. It should be, the understanding has to be clear. Of course, figures has to be there because there's a part of the structure that has to do with cost and benefit. So while you're doing your feasibility study, you're considering the business, you're considering the technical and the finance, right? Which will make up the feasibility study of the proposition that you're providing. All right, BB, that's Bello, right? Does that answer you? Sorry, I didn't call your name, Mr. Thinkwise. I don't know if he's in Thinkwise, right? All right. Okay, yeah, Thinkwise, I don't know if I responded to you. There's a part of risk management in your business case document, so it has to be considered. All right, so Nike or Nike, I don't know which is that. All right. So I think it's a BA responding to an issue identified. Yeah, providing, of course, like I said, Nike, right? It's as problem solvers, as solution providers, a business or an organization will reach out to us for our services. Before they will come, of course, they've seen a gap within their organization, right? So for us to respond to them, like I said, you can't just verbally say words to them and they expect them that day, that minute, that means, right? Okay, we've heard this, thank you. And everybody has closed for the meeting. It could be 30 minutes, it could be 1 hour. Trust me, as they leave that point, it is over. Whatever you said in that conversation, trust me, nothing to back it up. That's why documentation is very key. So as BAs, right, proposing your proposition, your proposal has to come from the side of a business case document. So let's know that that is the first aspect to win the project. In your project, there's an aspect of requirement gathering. It's also a document that you need to put together for your stakeholders to understand, okay, this was gathered and all that. Then the design, you need to capture all the functional business requirement, all of those things. So yeah, they are just in phases. So this is you, responding to business issues. All right, okay, Messi, that's you. Any other question? I don't know if I answered you or if I'm part of what you said, Nike or Nike. I don't know if it is Nike, Mobodo, or Nike. So let me just call Mobodo so it doesn't seem like I'm calling or not calling your name right. So Mobodo, we are together, right?
Yes, very well on point. Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Any other question, any other reaction? Mr. Rick, I don't know if I responded to you properly. Are you good? Sorry, after responding, I didn't call your attention.
I noticed that, but it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's
Sorry,
okay. So
but we're
I
good, right?
appreciate. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
thank you very much. All
Thank
right,
you,
we
sir.
have 1 minute or 2 minutes to go. Any other question, please?
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir, the way you structure your business case,
Yep.
if I'm a project management and business analyst, I want to structure my CV so that I will not be getting a message of unfortunately. How am I going to structure it that will make me to get that job?
So CV is CV. This solution provision. So you wouldn't want to use a business case structure for your CV, right? However, of course, we all know that your CV has to be clear. What your objectives are, your experiences, and all of that, right? So yeah, uh, I don't know how best I'll say it, but this is a business case document and not actually a CV. So of course we should get proper CV structures, right? So get your CV structures properly, and definitely when the right company that needs you wants you, you get it. It's not really easy coming by. I understand, the negativity and after submitting CVs and you get that note, really hurting. But yeah, just go get a professional CV structure properly. Of course, one thing with that, with having a proper your CV properly structured is, it wouldn't look boring to your employer or the HR or the people employing, right? So just put those values first and just have it properly structured. Do you get? So you get it right. You definitely get it right. All right. This is just for you to win the business, for you to have investors or for you to have your stakeholders invest. That's why you need to structure your business case document properly. Any other contribution or reaction before I call it a day?
No questions. Thank you.
All right, all right. Oh, it's 1 o'clock already. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you. I really appreciate your time and your audience and all of the contribution thus far. It's highly appreciated. All right, thank you, Messi. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Please let's appreciate our trainer. Thank you so much for a beautiful and insightful presentation. All right, we are gradually coming to the end of today's class. We'll be moving over to